So it's going to be a very casual conversation. We're going to have Alex here. He's going to show us a bunch of cool stuff he's doing. And yeah, just going to have a good time. I know probably most of you are already on vacation or are chilling at home. Hey, Alex.
Hey there.
Hello.
Nice
Well,
to be there. Hi,
yeah,
everyone.
yeah. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining us and doing this. I think it's going to be very fun. I'm for sure looking forward to seeing all of your work and you talking about it. It's always a good time. Uh, Before we go to that, I just wanted to quickly, let's see, quickly announce that if we have explosion pants. Oh wait, let's see. Get this away. Explosion pants. We're gonna quick in a while. Shortly, we're gonna do a merch page. So I'm just showing this off, and this we just received my T-shirt, which is the Crispy Chicken Crew. So you guys who are in the Explosions workshop are going to be getting either the pants or the shirt. And Ava also gave me this one, which is the T-shirt from Jordan's. So the VFX Wizards crew. So we got the T-shirts. We have like 5 big boxes in our living room of T-shirts now. So we're going to be sending these out shortly. Sweet. So we got that out of the way. Alex, thanks for joining us. I wanted to quickly ask you if you can do a brief introduction of yourself, and then we're going to get the ball rolling.
Sure. So I'm Alex. I'm currently, you could say, a FX artist, FXTD at Unity Image in Paris. So we are a studio that is mostly revolving around gaming. So mostly means cinematics. So think Platiche, Digic, Axis, those kind of studios. Sometimes working on some bigger stuff, like we just did with Secret Level on Amazon.
Mm.
I've been there for 3 years, and I've been working in the industry for almost 14 years now.
Nice.
I haven't always been an FX artist. I actually started as compositing
Mm.
for a few years at Buff, which is a very old studio in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
It did 5 years there, then moved for 5 years at Mathematics, still in Paris, which is where I like my first day there was my first day on Houdini, actually. So that was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, and getting in love with the software for those 5 years, and yeah, ultimately moving there at Unit, where I work with the wonderful FX team, which is really a pleasure. It's been a studio I've been looking at for years. So it was quite an honor for me to join them. And I do all sorts of stuff over there. So yeah, FX. I'm also a TD here and there, so coding sometimes for the department. And also I've been working on some shading, which is pretty strange. But yeah, I've been coding for some shaders on some stylized trailers and things like that. So I always love to do different stuff. Like FX is nice, I love that, but I love to do many things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's me.
Sweet. Yeah, you're kind of like myself. I also like to do a lot of different things. Um, I especially like compositing and color grading.
Yeah.
I really like that. I always tell people when they ask me, "Oh, what should I?" Especially beginners, juniors. They're like, "Oh," if they ask me for advice, and I always tell them, learn how to animate. At least know the basics of animation because that's going to help with your effects. Because effects
Hmm.
are you just have to animate things moving in a nice way, but it's sometimes it's usually through simulations but it's the same principles. And compositing, because you need to know the other artistic principles of which colors go well together, how to blend things together, how to complete a full shot, because that, especially if you only work in effects, how do you then know which passes to give forward to your
Yeah.
compositor? Or is that going to have glow? Do you have to make the fake glow? Like, how does that work? So you need to kind of know compositing as well. How did that help you a lot, knowing compositing and then moving to FX? Was that a good kind of
Actually, yes, because like when I moved to Mathematic, I was like at first I was able to send out my FX and they were kind of working out of the box because I was compositing them myself. first, like sending out to the farm, checking it, like, do I have, I don't know, like the right alpha, all those kind of stuff. And they saw that, they were telling me, oh, that's fine because we just get your stuff, put it out in the compositing and it works. And it wasn't always the case with other artists. So that was a first very concrete point, like, of course, being able to provide the right stuff to anyone else. But yes, I always, so I'm very, very nerdy about the whole job, about every department, about how things work. So in general, it's always great to have a vision where you need to bring your picture somewhere. So you can already anticipate what the artist will tell you, the one that is next to you.
Yeah.
It's the same thing everywhere. Like I remember when I was at school, like everybody, so many people wanted to do rigging, some wanted to do animation, and the teachers were always like, if you want to do rig, you should do animation. If you want to do animation, you should do rigging, because you need to understand what you get and how to communicate. So definitely, and it also helps, working on the eye, especially when I was doing compositing, I was doing it VFX wise. So with actual live action plates and things like that. So it does helps to already get that feeling of being able to match a plate, match those stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it really helps if you know, or like photography is a good one, just in general, knowing photography. Filmmaking in general is good.
The more you know, right? Like the more you know, the more that's outside.
Honestly. Yeah.
It's really this.
Yeah.
If you just focus on just doing FX, and I've met a few artists like that. They're like, "Oh, look, I can do the best explosion ever," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, it's a simulation. It's in the viewport, so like you just render your viewport, and you're like, okay, cool. But what's your camera? What's your move? What do you want to tell with this?"
Yeah.
And that's the hardest point sometimes. Like you need to take what the director is telling you, and you need to express it. It's not just about the coolness of Houdini. It's not just about bringing out the best simulation. It's about, yeah, it's this thing of saying we tell a story, but that's really it. It's like you need at least to convey what's the brief. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think actually telling the story is always the most important. And I know even with explosions, right? Different shapes are gonna indicate something else. Even story wise, sure, sometimes they're just gonna ask you to match like a real explosion, but sometimes they're gonna be like, well, this explosion needs to feel more chaotic.
Yeah.
It has to feel more aggressive. It has to feel less aggressive, because if it looks too aggressive, it's gonna feel like everybody died, and it shouldn't feel like that. So then you go into you can get into storytelling even just with explosions.
Yeah, and I believe it's easy to overlook the fact that anyone in the audience does have at least an idea, even if they don't know, that some kind of fires look like that, some stuff that have some fuel, some stuff like we have because of the news sometimes, even with war footage and stuff like that, we kind of know what's a bomb, what's a fire from. I don't know, like I don't do much explosion, but we do have this vision. So even the color of it change everything. Like if it's blue, if it's orange, like it gives different feelings. So yeah, it's very, very important to get all that.
Yep. Sweet. Well, we could talk probably about this for like another hour, but I think what the most interesting thing is going to be you sharing your screen and going through some of the stuff you worked on, just showing us some cool, juicy visuals, man, and tell us how it's done.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So let me see, because I'm starting to be an old man, if I get it right.
Yep.
Here it is.
Sweet.
So yeah, that's let's start with the easy thing. So it's like the unit page. So that's all of the things we do. So obviously, because it went out like only I'm just showing you just a bit of the last stuff that we did, and then we go through one of them. So obviously the last two ones, we are of course extremely proud of those. It's Secret Level. So if you don't know that, for anyone who don't know that, it's kind of Love, Death and Robots that was on Netflix, except this time it's on Amazon, and it's every short film is basically a game IP. So there are tons of them. So we were super lucky to have Dungeons and Dragons. So that's quite fun. Like everybody was quite happy when we got the news.
That's a good one.
A long time ago.
It's a good one to get.
That's really a good one. I think we were lucky to be one of the first studio to start production on
Mm-hmm.
it. So yeah, I think we were able to pick. Like the bosses said, "Oh, we really want to do Dungeons and Dragons, so let's go with it." The second one is a bit less known, but it's New World, and
Mm.
I can highly recommend it because like Dungeons and Dragons is your big fantasy ethics kind of stuff. New World is different because it's kind of a comedy,
Mm.
comedy stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really different, and I really love that. But the show is really cool. To be honest, I haven't watched everything yet. I am currently watching them.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously top studios in there. We are lucky to be there. Blur is there. Digic is there. Platige is there. So tons of really good pictures. So of course, highly recommend that.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing this also, which is so much different than what we do usually, which is a music video inside of Unreal. Stylistic kind of stuff. That was fun. We've got this trailer for New World too. This one, I guess I'm going to talk a lot about this one because I've been extremely involved with this one
Mm.
and super proud of it. Actually, the Oracle, which is a trailer just to set up the universe. We've been doing 2 Elden Ring trailers. That's a French commercial. We don't do a lot of commercial, but this one was fun. And of course, while we're here, we've been doing two of the latest yearly League of Legends movies. So we did this year, 2024 and 2022, which was so great. We'll watch them and discuss. We've been doing Baldur's Gate
Mm.
pre-introduction movie, quite a big game. So yeah, Armored Core. We are lucky to really work Diablo, Division. We work a lot for Ubisoft, League of Legends,
Mm.
Elden Ring, which actually was my first work at Unit. So yeah, we are super lucky to work on big IPs. Like I've been working on a lot of very bad commercial before,
Mm.
and being in a studio where you get less work because it's longer jobs, but every time it's a cool stuff. Especially for me, I'm a gamer, so every time it's like, oh cool, it's a new game, I don't know it, so it's of course excitement. It's really fun.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We are based in Paris, and that's mainly our stuff because this is what we are in a bit of a strange position because we have 4 bosses actually, the 4 founders of the studio, and they were artists and they wanted to do that. They just wanted to do those kind of stuff without having to move to Blur, without having to move to Platige. So
Nice.
yeah, that's us. We've been around for like 13 years, I think, 14 years Unit now. And yeah, that's it.
It
How
it's
do you want
great.
to go? Like, do you want to go chronologically, or do you want to go straight to League?
Oh, it's up to you. Like which I think you said the one you were very heavily involved is like super stylized, right? So I'm assuming you did a lot of
Yeah,
shaders and stuff like that, but it's up to you.
yeah.
You
Or you
yeah.
know what? It was meant for League, so let's start with Leagues.
Mm.
And then I move back to the Marvels. So we did 2 of those. The first one was the 2022 one. So here we go. That's a bit of a silly question. Like, do you comment along, or do we do that afterwards?
Oh, if you want, you can comment as you go. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna be very honest with you. I don't even know the name of the characters. Like, I've
Me
never
neither. Yeah.
played.
But
Yeah, I've never played League.
I watched this cinematic quite a few times because when I was working at Access, obviously we were looking at Unit as a reference as well because you guys were doing amazing stuff, and we were kind of doing very similar things, game cinematics. Uh, but yeah, I don't know any of the characters, but I watched this cinematic quite a few
Yeah,
times.
you, you know what's funny is that so we obviously for those kind of stuff we are lucky to work directly with Riot. Riot doesn't bother themselves with any kind of agency in between, so they really give us the brief about what it's supposed to be, what characters. And for the 2 times we've made those shows, it's funny to read the comments because like
Mm.
the real fans, they will notice every single details and
Mm-hmm.
tell, oh, it's funny because this happens, and that's like super close to the lore, and like we had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just did what Riot was asking. We had no clue it was like that precise, that Some does, of course. I cannot
Mm.
speak for the whole studio. Some are super nerdy about League of Legends, but yeah, no, I don't
Mm.
have a clue what's going on here. All I know is that it's super fun because I love music,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the time I believe it's sad because music is added like at the end without
Right.
any relationship to the editing, and Riot does that the other way basically. Like the music was already almost done when we even started the storyboard.
Yeah.
So that was amazing to be able to time everything based on that. It's also part of what we were mentioning just earlier, is that you have the different acts in the music, and like it's the dark times moment when the music is low. But it's already there. Like when we start working, it's in the storyboard, obviously, and it's in the music. So tells us a lot about what's going on in every sequence.
Yeah. Riot is essentially a music video,
Yeah,
a music company now that does cool music
yeah,
videos, and they just happen to have a video game as well.
yeah. But that's amazing. Like
Yeah.
with them, I can't complain. Like every time, this one particularly, and that was the first time in my whole career. Like when we were watching the 2D animatic with just the storyboard, you had everything.
Mm.
Like the whole emotion that they were trying to convey, it was already there. Sometimes it's super hard to project because maybe the storyboard is not good enough. Maybe it's not, there is no sound at all. But here it was already this whole thing. It was quite crazy actually. It was nice
Mm.
because super easy for us to know where we were going.
Oh, it's so good. So which parts did you worked on this one?
So basically on this one, I did every lightning that you see.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked on this destruction on this
Mm.
shot,
Mm.
and I did the 2 destruction shots in the snow that we have before, that are those peaks. So those peaks, and just after that, and this one too, of course. So yeah, that really was the first time that I had that much time to develop a setup and be able to work.
How much time was
Like
that?
all the uh, it's not that long, but I think we started it. Maybe it was end of August, I think. Of course, like we are very segmented at Unit, so characters sometimes they start working, and in FX we don't even know because we are finishing the previous project. So everybody is quite linear in terms of production.
Mm.
I think I start because when I joined, they made me wait with a shot on Elden Ring, which was quite nice before moving to League. And I think we worked on the FX for like 3 months
Mm.
because we usually start early. Like as soon as we start having even some layouts, sometimes we start to be able to work on the on some tools and stuff like that. Like for this one, for the Lightning, I was able to start trying for the first time the viewer states, in Houdini, when you can code Python tools inside of the viewport.
Yeah.
So yeah, because just I had times to do that. So instead of just having points to say that's the start, that's the end, I was able to just click in the viewport. That
Mm.
I don't think it made me win that much time in the end, but that was just cool to be able to test the tech. And yeah, I think it was 2-3 months, something like that, up until December, end of December, because then those trailers had to be delivered. It's always nice because we finish by Christmas and then we can go in holidays, and then it's released in January. So yeah, pretty cool. It was of course, it's always like I want to give a huge shout out to the character team at Unit, because like I think this is I won't preach for my choir, but I think this is like one of our best department right now. Like it's always a pleasure to work on the characters and have those renders and the animation, everything.
Mm.
So tons of effects on this one. Like every time we've been treating with a League of Legends project is fun because we know in FX we're gonna have a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually a time where we bring the team with more people. It was nice because we had like 2 people. I think it was almost like their first job in FX, and they didn't know why they were coming in. And one of them was super fan about Wiz League, and when he got the news, like he was like, okay, so it's the new yearly cinematics for League. Like he was almost in tears. Like he was
Yeah.
like super happy.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. So you
So
said
yeah, that was cool.
you did the ice destruction and the
Yeah, and all
electricity
the
setups.
lightnings.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the lightnings, which was kind of it's funny because they are actually it's super fast. So there are
Mm-hmm.
actually a lot of shots with the lightning, but sometimes you don't even see them because it's
Mm.
like going full in action. But the most challenging one, and it was what changed the whole setup, was specifically the slow motion one.
Mm.
Just this one, because you want to see
The
how
the
the
branching
lightning. Yeah,
and
exactly.
eroding,
So
right? It doesn't just disappear. It kind of it erodes a bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's that. So
Mm.
like when it's just boom, like goes for 2 seconds, like you can 2 frames, not 2 seconds, you can just
You can fake
create
it.
a branching kind of
Yeah.
stuff,
Mm.
and that's it. Like you just light it up and you do what you had to do to remove it. But no, yeah, here we have to have like a proper propagation, which was actually, maybe I'm not that smart, but it was much harder than what I felt. Like I remember I went on that and thought, oh, okay, easy, just shortest pass kind of stuff, it's gonna be
Yeah.
fine. But no, it's not, because what you want is that you want that to propagate at the same speed everywhere.
Mm.
So when you have like the larger branch, it's super long. So when it's propagated, it goes at the speed. But then you have all those little ones. And yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare of calculations to make sure everything goes at the right speed. But I
Yeah.
was quite happy with the result.
Oh, it looks great. Yeah, I'm actually
And yeah,
sup surprised that Houdini doesn't have like a vanilla good
yeah,
electricity slash lighting bolt
agreed.
setup because it is actually complex. I did them a few times already, and each time I had to do it, I had to relearn how to do it. Like it's not so because
Yeah.
the setups sometimes get quite big, and I don't know how you did it, but I had like a lot of for loops and stuff like that. It was just
Oh,
like
a lot.
yeah, so it gets very difficult to do. And it is kind of you could say it's like a common effect, electricity.
Mm.
So I kind of wish there was a few good tools for doing electricity, but maybe
Yeah,
someday.
yeah, yeah. One shot that I actually liked when it comes to lightning, which was slightly different than the others, is this one, because it's a complete different thing. It was fun to be able to work, creating. Obviously, it gets extremely glowy, extremely motion blur,
Hmm.
but to be able to propagate and stylize those kind of lighting on a body that's animated. It's always fun, like to be able to work. I like working on characters.
Mm.
It's always cool to have an animation and have to deal. And that, again, that really goes to what we were saying before. Like the shot was basically that from the start, in terms of timing, in terms of how everything has to go. This one is the same. Like I can tell you that I've spent way too much time working on that big ice stuff falling to be destroyed, and you don't see that on cam. Classic.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's cool to have like such directed shots. Um, it's very fun. Like I can say for sure that this one was actually extremely random when it comes to the lighting, but it
Mm.
works
Mm.
with this absolutely fake bear, because it's
Mm.
all 2D actually.
Mm.
That was a very cool project. Yeah, very fun. Tons of effects also from for all of my friends. Like they had tons of cool stuff. Those whole effects in the sand here, the whole arrival of those guys. This shot, which is not FX, but it was funny because we saw a few reaction videos, especially from people in the industry who were trying to understand how the hand actually gets to
The
get the
form.
deformation.
Mm.
Yeah, that's fun because yeah, people were thinking it's a lot of rigging.
It's just blend
It's
shapes.
it's it's actually sculpted by hand every frame. Like we have a whole department. We actually have a whole department called post animation, where they actually paint those stuff and actually tweak the displacement on every frame if needed be.
I love that.
Uh, yeah, I do too, because sometimes what they do is very subtle. Sometimes you don't even fully
Yeah.
see that. Like they do a lot of animations around the neck for the characters,
Yeah.
because when you scream or whatever, you have all those things that get tensions, and that's something super hard to get directly from rigging and everything. So they paint those kind of stuff all the time, and
I love
it's
that.
always fun to
Yeah.
see what kind of results they bring out of that.
Yeah. That's so good.
So yeah, all those.
That's kind of like one of the things when people show me some new stuff from these AI generation tools, right? Video gen tools, and I'm like, yeah, but you guys don't understand. Like I see a lot of LinkedIn. They're like, oh, this is revolutionary. This is the new blah blah blah, and I'm like, you guys don't get it. Like sometimes a simple eye twitch can tell a story.
Yeah.
Sometimes a simple, yeah, like you said, like a vein on the neck when somebody's screaming, like that tells that's the like and a lot of it's exactly what you're saying. Like a lot of these things are literally hand animated frame by frame. Like that's the important part. That's what separates something from being just like super boring and average to being super unique. You know, when people talk about a hand displacement on the rock, that's because
Yeah.
it was so fucking good. And you will not get stuff like that at all with these AI generated models, and you will never be able to tell a story in this type of way.
And you know what? One thing that's absolutely obvious, and all those people with the marks on LinkedIn don't even have a single idea of that, and
Yeah.
myself included sometimes, is that they don't understand how fun it is for us. Like we like to do that, you know, and that's funny
Mm.
because for me, someone that is doing ethics, like for me, the certain other departments would be like the most boring stuff because
Mm.
that's not my thing. But those people in this department, they have those gigantic anatomy books next to
Mm-hmm.
them,
Mm-hmm.
and they just love doing that.
Of course.
They are just like super passionate about anatomy, and they love to get a character that does have like a neck animation that obviously feels like a very bad neck animation because this is just a rotation and just some polygons being stretched out, and they love bringing all the details and all these things, and they are
Exactly.
super passionate about that. They
Yeah.
spend their days doing that, and sometimes you it's funny because you see that from this angle to them, thinking sometimes we don't see what they do, but that's the same in FX basically. Sometimes you do an FX, you spent weeks on that, and it's
Mm.
just a super close shot, and that's the passion we bring on the table. It's and yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not super into AI myself, so of course wouldn't have lots of good things to say about it.
Yeah. Same here.
But yeah,
Very very
that's what
biased.
makes the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and although I think it might become like it's a huge discussion. I think it might become cool tools at some point, but yeah, for
Mm-hmm.
now, I enjoy that we think we do high-end stuff at Unit, and we want to keep doing that because we believe this is also some sort of a security for us,
Mm-hmm.
and because that's the amount of details we put, and that's also why clients come to see us.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
They come to see us with the big IPs because they knows we are going to treat them with this sort of
Yeah.
details and respect.
It's
And
it's it's what you said. It's like I keep giving this example. It's high fashion versus fast food.
absolutely.
And I think fast food, you know, you have McDonald's, you have a lot of these places, and dude, sometimes they're packed, but
Mm,
you know, sure. But you also have these super fancy Michelin star places, and you have high fashion brands that are making way more money than the fast fashion brands. And
yeah.
I think, yeah, all of these AI tools and whatever, they're just going to be like fast fashion or like fast food. And you guys are the three-star Michelin restaurant that
And
people
you know,
actually want to go.
I'm gonna
Mm,
digress for a second because it's a story that I had in my career that was
mm,
so kind of a learning moment that was so cool. Like we had when I was at Booth, so it was still my early years in the
mm,
industry. We had a client coming in. Those guys were doing, you know, I don't smoke. I don't know if you do, but when you
mm,
open a pack of cigarettes, you have this sort of golden paper that's around the
mm,
cigarettes
mhm,
that's all those details, and that those guys, they were actually doing that for
mm,
the biggest brands in the whole world. So that's the only thing they were doing, that paper, and that was a multi-million kind of stuff because they had the patents to that.
mm,
They were creating the patterns, they were creating the technology, and so they came to us and they said, "Look, I want a 500,000 short movie about my craft." So we did like a space version of Venice. Venice. We had a shooting, we had everything that was showcasing kind of the paper. And what they told us is that they say, you will never be able to show that, because I want this to only be on my laptop when I go see my client. And I remember some of us were like, you know, we are all sometimes thinking about our career, about our demo reels, and we were like, that's crazy. And someone said, no, you know, it's actually incredible, because every time we do a picture, it just go online, it just go on YouTube. Everybody can copy it, everybody can watch it. That guy just created one of the most exclusive products out of your picture. That's luxury. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that was a completely different angle. That was fun. That was such a different way of looking at pictures. And that's the only time. I mean, we did two short films for them, but that was so different. Such a different approach.
And they're still not online anywhere to be seen.
No, because as far as I remember, we had like, maybe we had a contract for 5 years, actually, not all life, but you know, it went forgotten somehow. And I don't think Booth ever tried to put them online anyway. And I kind of like this idea at the end of the day. Like, I have those, I could put them online if I want, but no, I like the idea. And so yeah, this is really the difference. And for sure, sometimes at previous studio, I thought maybe if AI was coming in, I would be at risk. But thankfully, with those sort of big trailers, we are not. So that's pretty. So that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
I agree. Yeah. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, should we move to the next one?
Let's do it.
So League. Come on, this is not my usual keyboard. I'm like lost. So that's the one that came out this year. So in January. So this one was slightly less FX based than the first one. I actually did less FX on this one than the first one, but again, always a pleasure to be working on this project. Once again, tons of lore stuff that people saw that we had no clue. Even more on this one than the first one, I think. I'm actually low quality. Maybe I should try to... Can I? Yeah, let's not hog the whole bandwidth. See if it works. Yeah. So ton of work on this one also for the CFX team that is being doing, of course, all the air, all the costumes, also the effects on Atrox on his sword. It's the whole FX team. The CFX team, sorry. Fire was cool because like I've got only one shot of fire, which is a very quick slow motion, and everybody forgot that this shot had to be slow motion. So the whole FX was real time and the character is slow. And that was like one of my first production experience with Axiom. And that was funny because GPU stuff allowed me to just remake the whole shot in one day. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, especially fire can be really slow to sim with Pyro.
I still think that pretty much all the fire you see here is still classic Pyro. Yeah, quality is a bit too high. I'm getting some.
Is it a bit laggy on your side as well?
Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi, so unfortunately, I think it's a bit too much. Let's move back to HD, see if it's better. So that's part of my section. Lots of work. I worked on the all the snow on the ground. So lots of work for not a lot, to be honest, because yeah, it's it goes so fast that you don't even see that.
Damn, so good.
So yeah, that's
Jesus.
it.
So good, so high quality. Like
Thank you very much.
yeah, a lot of people would I would really like to see a full movie like this, but I know that would take like like
Yeah.
something like what happened with Arcane usually takes like 4 years, and I think their budget was like 200 million or something crazy like that. Which
Yeah, and they spend a lot of time. Like I guess, I mean, they have the style and the way of working to support. Obviously, a TV show is much longer than a movie, but they found the right balance. Like sometimes I hear my bosses thinking like, when does Riot ask us for longer stuff? But I can't even imagine the cost like of a movie.
Oh, it's like 200 million.
With full CG like that.
At
Yeah,
least
something like that.
At least 200. Yeah, and it's like 4 or 5 years of. It's hard to keep a consistent quality of this level.
Yeah,
throughout the whole.
and that's
movie.
just the work, because there are also the whole consideration of pipeline, and are you even able to pull this out? Like, we do have a good pipeline at Unit, but to be honest, I don't think we would be able right away to do a big movie. So that's part of the job. It's also like maybe a good 6 months or a year just to develop the tools and be sure that the infrastructure follows. It's such a big undertaking. So we'd love to, I guess. Of course, we'd love to. We'd love to do more shows too, like Secret Level and Love, Death and Robots. But yeah, that's a lot of work. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it's coming up, but not for now. But we do hope. But we still, me personally, I like projects that are not too long, because then you can get different experience.
How long was this project in development?
Pretty much the same. Maybe I think a bit shorter, this one. So I guess the same. Like, I think it was from September to, I mean, for the FX, probably the Kara team started into summer 23, and it ran up until December. Yeah, pretty much the same time frame.
Yep. Yeah, very similar.
So
than like what we had at Access, because we were working also on League of Legends stuff. So usually it was like 5 to 6 months per cinematic was the kind of the timeline. Effects usually like 2-3 months. Usually that was kind of the standard. But also, do you guys take more projects at the same time? Like, do you only have one in the pipeline at a time?
It kind of depends. We usually have multiple ones, but yeah, we stretch them. So as I was mentioning just before, sometimes the rendering and the FX is finishing one, and sometimes we have two at the same time, and the character team is starting on the next one after. So we try not to have too much at the same time, or if we do, we try to make sure that a big project happens at a point and then some smaller around, because we do have a nice render farm, but it's of course not infinite. So we try to make sure that we have the correct scaling. So I don't think maximum might be 3 projects at the same time, but it's yeah, it's not always.
Makes sense. Okay, cool. Do you want to talk any more about this one? Like, do you want to show anything specific, or do you want to move on?
I don't think of anything special unless you have more question on this one. Honestly, this one was it just rolled out so well, like nothing out of the ordinary. The first one had a lot more work because it was the first one, and this one just worked out beautifully. Riot is, to their credit, a beautiful client. Like they know their world extremely well, and the director was also amazing. I forgot his name, but he's great. So it was just working fine, like you don't get into a situation where whole sequence are being reworked or stuff like that. This is very nice to be doing this.
Is your internet gonna fail you?
Yeah, I think so. I don't see your video updating. I don't know if you hear me correctly.
I can hear you and I see you. It's just your
You,
YouTube was not loading.
you know what? Give me a sec. I'm just going to shut down my other computer just to
All
see
good.
if I can
Okay. All good.
make sure if I got the bandwidth. I've got for 5 seconds.
Sweet. Quick intermission, guys. Actually, I'm gonna grab something to drink as well. Be right back.
All right, let's see if it's better.
I'll just grab something. Fine? Yeah, I can hear you. I'll just grab a drink. Yeah. Sure. Okay. But you can prepare the next video.
Yep.
Ja mam drugą brandu na blisko Rizani. Nadal się tak do white label, the tambourines, everyone, everything.
Ja, jag är in-house med morgon.
Ja, så nu kanske får jag inte nöjd. Det är intressant.
I'm back.
Well, it's actually the computer that's not happy.
Computer's not happy.
Oh yeah, I've got a 100% CPU on something. I'm not too sure what it is.
Yeah, I think that's why it was lagging a bit. The video.
Yeah, I don't think it's internet. It's it's actually Discord that for some reason is grabbing 97% of the CPU.
Oh, dude, yeah, it is funny because sometimes Discord, and then if I record my screen, and then it starts lagging, and I'm like, I'm on a pretty decent computer, so.
Yeah. Well, it's a laptop, so I mean, I can understand, but like, what the hell are you doing, Discord?
Yeah, it's just the screen sharing, I think, just kills it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see. Maybe I will switch back to one screen, just in case. So let me get the other one. Yeah, Discord, please give me back some of my computing power. So yeah, we'll see. I'm loading the other one. Let's hope it's not too slow. Because yeah, I killed the stream, so that strange is still taking up that much power. Let's see if we can do something. I'm just gonna move back the frame rate. That doesn't seem to be.
No, but that would be weird that the Discord is taking that much processing
Yeah,
power.
no, but you know what? I'm just going to disconnect the second screen and we should be set.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna move that window back. Yeah, something is not okay.
It's funny that we
Right.
still have problems like this in 2025
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah. And you know what? I was seeing like Discord wasn't like maximized on the screen. It was border on the second one. So I wonder if it's not one reason too. All right, unplugging. Sorry for the delay, of course. I
It's fine.
wish
I'll just
I didn't
edit this
have
part
those
out.
sorts of problem. All right. Do I get some more power? Yep, it seems. All right, so let's see if I can share this. It seems to be better. Oh, I lost the camera.
You did.
There you go.
Oh, you have a different camera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Crazy. Let's see. It's the one. Oh, okay. The camera moved. I think when I disconnected the HDMI, let's move back to the other one. All right. Do you see?
No, still garbage. Huh. Maybe I think Alex's computer is overheating. So you can try to disable open. Oh, Alex, somebody.
I think now. I think that I'm full screen. It's going good, right?
It's like it's not smooth. Like the frame rate is still very
Oh,
twitchy.
that's strange. It is for me. That's bad. Like I think this time it's Discord. That's. Oh yeah, it's giving me strange errors. That's strange because yeah, it's still laggy here.
Yeah, not. It's definitely not smooth.
Let me try to relaunch it.
I
I'm
think
super sorry.
I think they're saying that you can disable open H.264.
It's inside of Discord?
Yeah, like in the settings. I don't know exactly where it is, but then I think it's gonna switch.
C5.
Yeah, it switches to the GPU. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, I see something. Open H264. Okay, removed it. We'll see if it's better. All right, let's try the screen again. I'm going back to the previous settings just to see if it's better. How is it?
It's not loading up.
Okay. So maybe
I think you might have to restart your Discord.
Yeah. All right, I'll be back in a second.
Okay. Classic technical issues. Do you guys think we should start using Zoom or like a different platform for this? I feel like Discord is a bit laggy. TeamViewer? Is that still around? I think Zoom is the best one still for calls like this or like webinars. We just switched to Discord because it's a bit more convenient because you have everything in one platform, but I feel like it's not working the best. Okay, let's see.
Where one indication is that I'm not hearing the fans of the laptop going haywire, so that might be one thing.
Okay, let's see.
Is it better?
It doesn't want to stream.
You know what? I'm going to bring back H.264 because I guess that may have been a problem now.
You are using a desktop app, right? You're not on the browser.
Yeah, that's a desktop app.
Okay. Yeah, because we had issues with that as well.
All right, let's relaunch it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was just clogged up and now it's going better. How is it?
Let's see. It's not completely smooth, but I think it's watchable.
All right, you know what? Let's go back from the start then. But yeah, at least the laptop is way quieter, so I guess Discord had something was kind of choking up.
It was going hot. It was running very hot.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, very, very different project. Completely different than what we showed before. Quite a challenge because, yeah, every time, it's not the first time Unit was doing some more stylized work. Every time a studio or an IP comes to us and says, look, we want you to do non-realistic render, yeah, it's quite a challenge. Mostly because also most of the teams enjoy doing realistic stuff.
Yeah.
So they are not always super happy to work on things like that. I had a blast, like, for sure.
Nice.
So yeah, complete different things FX-wise because a lot of stuff are 2D FX. And a lot of FX that we have, some of them are actually just completely sub-level based because, you know, you don't need, of course, we have some destruction and stuff like that, but some stuff are completely procedural. So you have like maximum control, maximum everything. Like this, like for all the bats, I did all the shots with those bats. Like it's a complete, yeah, it's completely based around curves and some animation around that. There's no big fancy stuff because that wasn't the plan. We wanted to have control. We wanted to have a look.
Who was doing the 2D effects? I'm assuming you guys had to hire specifically for this project, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We had some very some people that are just doing that all the time. This is basically their job. So yeah, we didn't have anyone doing these things internally before. So yeah, we had a small crew. I think they were like maybe 2 or 3 maximum. That's a project that was long because it ran for like 2 years. The game didn't come as early as it should. So yeah, that was one of those projects where you work once and then you rework later. So we had almost 2 crews working on that. But yeah, that was, I mean, I'm super happy with the result. It's fun. It's fun to work on Marvel stuff and not be working on the huge Marvel movies. I was happy that it was different. It's also, I mean, it's characters everybody knows, so that was fun to be able to work on them with this kind of style because that was really the plan from the client. Like, let's make something anime because it's not usual for Marvel. And that was cool. And so yeah, for this one it was fun because I was working on everything that you see on the movie is like custom shading. So we basically developed our own toon rendering for this project. That was very different. That's very different than what I'm used to do in FX. But that was fun. That was a different kind of challenge. So everything was rendered in Arnold, and that was cool. That was a first dive into this world of shading and custom stuff in Arnold, and actually a very fun world because there are so many things to do. It's untapped. Like even today, I'm still working on some Arnold stuff right now, and I'm discovering some crazy ways to break the engine. Like you can definitely break Arnold into ways that they didn't. Sorry, let me do that phrase again. Like they didn't even know it was possible. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I had bugs I've never seen. Like, screens that were breaking so much because I was doing some forbidden magic inside of
Yeah.
shaders. But that was cool. That was fun, and it was one of these moments where I had some junior artists and they were sometimes trying to make FXs with simulations, and this was one of those moments where I was like, and I know you guys love working also on anime kind of stuff, and I know it's also a demand from many people, and it was really a big thing to try to teach them, like, let's not do any simulation if we can for those kind of projects, because it doesn't make sense. It's too hard to completely art direct something that is out of a simulation.
Yep.
So it's not easy, but like every time you see that there is a character that is walking on something and that we want to create a break or something, it was mostly doing some good old Vex with matrices and stuff like that to rotate the pieces accordingly with just a slider for the animation, and that's it. And of course it felt for some of them like arcane magic at first. But I guess they learned quite a lot on this project, because that really was it. Like, let's make something that looks cool, that has the good intention, the right weight, and let's forget simulation and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's usually the way to go. Even, and especially if you're just learning effects in Houdini, don't start with simulations, because I think that's a trap.
Yeah.
Because then you think, oh, actually, I know how to use Houdini, because you know how to do a few simulations and cache them. And sure,
Absolutely.
you can even at a junior level, you can make an amazing explosion or like a good flip sim. But that's the solver doing its thing. You are not actually doing anything. But
especially now, like when I started Houdini, it was like 16, and you had less resources, you had less stuff in the solvers. Like even myself, as an FX artist, when the sparse solver arrived, like it was an instant boost in quality in everything that I was doing for no price at all, because it was the same kind of way. So of course you can show that and be super proud about it, because there is every right to do. But you're right. Like I believe sometimes starting without simulation is the best thing. And it's funny because specifically on this one, all the bats that are flying, it's something that went through different styles, and at some point it even was simulation. I even tried with Axiom, I tried with Embergen, because we needed to have like big we needed to change the style in not too long, and it was not looking good, because every time you think I'm going to take a smoke simulation, I'm going to stylize it.
It's hard.
Honestly, personally, I've yet to see a project that done that well, like very well, where I'm like, it definitely does like 2D. And at the end of the day, I started working on this new setup, the one that there is on the movie, and some other artists were like, "Oh, how did you do that? It sounds crazy. What's the because when you do some magic effects, especially with particles, you need to have like billions of those to have something that is extremely smooth, that's full." And I was like, "Well, it's just ribbons with a shader.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. It's just some clever UV tricks on a ribbon, and that's it. And since it's black, I can." They can intersect themselves. I don't care, because I don't have any lighting going on that, so I can get away with a lot. And it's funny because for me, it really represents how I learned 3D, even if it's, it feels not that old again, 15 years ago, but it really was. And I wasn't into big studios that already had the big solvers and stuff. Buff was a studio that was doing things like that. They were trying to cheat as much as they can, because they didn't have the amazing softwares, because Buff only have in-house developed softwares. So of course they are not as advanced as could be Houdini and everything. So you learn to find tricks to do your stuff, and top level is really where it is. And I wish schools were more into that, actually. Than teaching you the stuff like big volumes and big things.
Like that's what I try. Even like with my explosions workshop, most of the things we are doing are just like how to make a good emitter, how to make everything that's like not trying to do as many things that are not simulation based, because that's where you
Yeah.
can do quick iterations. As soon as you start simulating, that becomes slow and hard to art direct.
Sure.
But the way I actually relearned all of this was when I was working on Gears of War, because when you do real-time VFX, it's just tricks. It's just you fancy UV tricks and shader tricks. That's
Yeah.
all it is, and particles. There's no simulations. I mean, particle simulations, yes, but it's literally just tricks, like hardcore tricks. It's like black magic in some cases. That's where I had to relearn how to think outside of the box.
Yeah.
And then once you do that and come back to Houdini, then you can start combining these weird SOP based workflows, and then add the simulation should just be like sprinkled on top sometimes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I do think even like having a base understanding of how real-time effects are made really helps when it comes to becoming like a
100% on that,
yeah.
because like I love what I do. I love my job, but
Mm,
I'll be honest, I don't do much FX when I'm at home. Like I don't do that because that's my job. And some people are so passionate that they do that on the weekends. But what I prefer is to do, to work on Unreal, like doing
yeah,
some games,
yeah,
stuff like that. So totally agree. Like a lot of things that I put on the table, especially in the stylized aspect and rendering, is to know a bit of how games does stuff,
right,
like
yeah,
also be passionate about the
yeah,
industry and know the tips and tricks that they used and think, oh, that's actually super clever. Like just one example at the top of my head was a talk that Rare does for Sea of Thieves. And they were showcasing how they did most of the FX in the game, and you can actually vomit in the game. And they have this simulation on the floor where you see the splat, and you cannot import like super expensive Alembic files into
no,
a game engine. It's impossible. So the way they solved that was to record the animation of the whole stuff and put it out almost as hate fields in grayscale, and the grayscale represent the animation basically. And they just move through that in the shader, and then boom, you have your simulation. And it was funny because I was playing Indiana Jones not too long ago,
yeah,
and you can see at some point he is pouring in some wine into a bowl, and I'm sure that is the exact same trick. And it feels like an actual flip simulation, and it's
yeah,
not, because obviously you have to think differently.
yeah,
And I like that because sometimes even working among the rest of the department, sometimes you solve problem faster.
yeah,
And then you have your lead come back and say, oh, it's already done. And then, yeah, because those tricks helps. And I'm impatient. I don't I don't think I would be able to work at Weta and like wait for those much
flip,
simulation.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, everything. Like, send that to farm, get that 2 days later. No.
yeah,
I like the tricks for that.
yeah. I actually don't like simulating explosions, even though that's mostly what I do. I like making
Yeah,
emitters. I like making the emitters is what's fun to me because that's fast.
yeah,
But once you have to
sure.
start simulating, I'm like, oh my God, I have to wait. Even if I have to wait 10 minutes now on the high res, I'm like, I'm not waiting. I'm just done.
I do agree. And for me, like the whole emitter stuff, since I was working mostly in commercials for the first 5 years of Houdini, I was doing all sorts of stuff. So I wasn't like specialized into one area. I remember that I had like a wake up call regarding emitters. It was when I saw the making of from Matthew Graham Collier from Real Time UK. They did this Dakar trailer, and he was doing all sorts of FXs like in the desert, and which is interesting because they don't always show the emitters. And like I was used to do like cars in the sand or bikes, and I was just thinking I'm gonna put a sphere here, and that's gonna emitter, and that's fine. And then when you were looking at his making of, it has all the trails emitted in particles at the back. And the thing is, you look except from the sand that's moving afterwards, what's going on in the play blast in the camera, you already know what's there. Like
Yeah.
you see the emitter, and boom, everything is already here. And that was a huge wake up call. I was like, oh, actually, that's very clever. And then the simulation is going to be good because
Exactly.
the rest is up there.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
That's totally it. Like emitter all the way. And yeah, I agree with you. It's like the fun part.
Have you tried our tools that we just released, the Master Exploder?
Nope,
Yeah.
not yet. But I was again. I'm into. To be fair, I don't think I did an FX in the last 3 months or 4 months
Nice.
because I was into stylized rendering, compositing, and stuff like that. But that we really should like not just me, but everybody
Yeah, try
at
it.
Unit. We should take a
So-
look.
yeah, you should. Yeah, and like if you guys have feedback, we would love to add or like change things. But they work for me, the tools, which means hopefully they would work for other people when they're making
Yeah,
explosions.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, especially because I don't even know if we are proud or not of that, but yeah, we tend to reinvent the wheel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are guilty of not saving a lot of setups.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we do, but we also try sometimes to force ourselves to redo something to try to gain new knowledge or to
100%.
get
Yeah.
better at a setup. But yeah, having tools sometimes shouldn't hurt. And yeah, we should definitely take a look. It's been a while since we've done Explosion. We have been doing a lot of fires over some projects, like Elden Ring is full of fire. We have one coming up that's gonna have some fire into it. But yeah, totally. We should take a look at these tools because after all, it's free, right?
Right now they are, yeah.
So why should we limit ourselves? So yeah, I should take a look, yeah, for sure. It
Nice.
was just like what, this week?
Yeah. This week, and there's like a whole masterclass that's also for free that you can kind of pick up the tools
okay.
and watch how I would use them in recreating like an explosion. So yeah, like my goal is that I really want studios to start using them because it's at Access we had the same thing. Each time we had an explosion, and whoever was doing it, they were redoing the setups every time.
Yeah.
So there was like a billion setups of explosions, and I was like, there must be like, what is the best way? And each time that I tried to make a tool, it was difficult. Like actually making like a robust tool for Houdini that is production ready, it's very hard. So I think we did it, or we came really close with these tools that we just released. So yeah, try them out. Let me know so we can improve them. Yeah. Sweet.
For sure. Yeah. That's true. Like we have a lot of custom nodes for all sorts of pipeline stuff.
Yeah.
And that's already so much maintenance to have them ready every new release, every new stuff. So yeah, I remember that I had this like I don't know if they were using tools, but I worked a few times at Mathematic with Platige, and I don't know if they had tools, but they definitely seemed to have like a huge collection of emitters, at least, because they were just able to pull out simulations so fast, like very much faster than when we were able to do. So yeah, that was very interesting to see and to think, and yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think it's I don't want to speak for other studios, but that's very French. We love to, we work mostly with no budget, and sometimes we don't spend the time to actually structure something well and say, okay, you know what, let's make the tools and then we'll be using them. No, we just go ahead on every projects. I think globally we are pretty fast. Like we are able to do things with less time than some bigger studio, but that means we are less equipped in some situation than we could be, at least.
But I think it's fun. I like making setups, I think that's why, that's also why we do it. And that's also why each person, if they have to do explosions or whatever, they're like, I'm just going to do my own explosion setup because it's fun, because sometimes using pre-existing tools that somebody else built is just not as fun as, it's not as enjoyable as you making your own setup. And then you're like, I made this setup and the explosions are looking amazing. That, because we are, in the end, we are artists and we just like the craft, as well. So
yeah, and that's actually probably the artist. It's for me, like sometimes with some artists, and I'm not saying even junior, sometimes even with some senior, sometimes it's actually hard to make them understand. That's like, it's almost a dirty word, but we are a business.
It's a job.
We have clients. We have clients, we have deadlines, and at the end of the day, it's great to do setups, it's great to do things, but
do your job. Do the shot.
Yeah, do your job. And on top of that, like, we are, we are constantly in competition with other studios like Platige, like Digic, like
Mm.
Goodbye Kansas and everyone. So of course we can come up on a client and say, look, I'm gonna spend 3 months do this explosion.
Mm.
It's gonna be beautiful, and they're gonna say, yeah, okay, it's too costly. So of course sometimes there are realities that just have to sink in, and it's not the fun part of the world of the job. Of course, when you're home, it's cool because you can just spend your times and do your perfect shot and spend the times. But yeah, sometimes we just have to be quick and dirty.
Yeah,
So
100%.
so yeah, tools for sure, for sure. That's where it's funny because like when we say at Uni that people are TDs, it's really not about like let's make setups for the others. It's really about coding. It's the people doing Python. But yeah, good setups works and are fun. Like in the second episode that we did of Secret Level, New World, I've been working on the close. There is the character and he's on a beach, and I've been working on the close-up shots from the grain simulation when he's on the ground. So he's like wet sometimes, so you have to get some of the sand that gets stick to him. And I did the setup, and I remember that I had a mid artist next to me, and he was afraid at first he had to do a couple of shots, and he said, "Oh, get Alex set up; it's gonna be faster." And he was afraid, and then he picked the setup, and he was like, "Oh, it just works
Yeah.
out of the gates." And I was like, "Yeah," because one thing you learn also in Houdini, the more you do jobs, the more you do projects, is to stop doing anything that's not at least to some degree procedural. Because you'll always get a retake, you'll always get a specific demand, and then you have to push that out into 10, 20, 30 shots, and you start the simulation and it's all broken because somewhere you put a group that's a number or a selection you did in the viewport, and boom, it breaks. And learning to do those setups as procedural as they could be, yeah, that's a skill on its own, I guess.
Yeah, it is a different mindset as well, especially if you're not used to it.
Yeah, project yourself. Like we were saying previously, when it comes to compositing, it's like, what do I want to achieve and in which situation? Like try to think globally, like what are the shots I need? And so it kind of comes up like, okay, how do I need to set up that? How can I do intelligent selection? How can I do a bit of Vex or not to find what's close, what's not, stuff like that. Houdini has tons of notes that I'm saying Vex because I love doing Vex, but you don't even need to do that. You have everything close at hands because they bring so many good tools for everybody. So
True.
So that's a big deal, yeah.
Okay, should we continue? How many more do you want to go through? Because we're already like past an hour.
Yeah, I don't have much. Unfortunately, the biggest thing that I've done at Units is here in Secret Level. Do you still see the tab?
I see the dragon.
Yeah, so unfortunately, yeah, the biggest thing that I've done is here, and I can't even talk about it because it would be spoiling the whole episode.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. So
yeah, so basically if you watch it and there is something fun in FX coming up at the end of the episode, it's me. But that's all I can say because that would be spoiling the surprise. So I don't have much of the other. We can go. Which one could be fun, FX wise? Yeah, just this one. I didn't work on this one, but just for the fire thing because this one was basically Firefest. And that's not me. That's one of my colleagues that I've been rocking this. Like I don't even remember how much time it took to make the whole fire that you are about to see in the city, but I think he did that in like 2 or 3 weeks. Like it was crazy. He's crazy good when it comes to pull out first version of anything, and usually the first version works. It's like good enough and sufficient and fine. And we could spend, again, in FX, we can spend months polishing a simulation, but at some point it doesn't make any sense anymore. So so yeah, fire.
Can you full screen it?
Yep.
Yeah, fire like that becomes at that scale, it becomes like a technical issue just because of the amount of data and like the
Absolutely.
the file sizes become huge, which is something that I don't know if you saw, but Zebra AI, it's like a compression algorithm that's, I think, now by default in Houdini. At least I think it ships with Labs.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it really helps. It reduces like the file sizes by like 80% or more, and the quality.
How do you render that afterwards? Like, does it work with every renderer?
It's the same thing. It's still just VDB. I think it's.
Okay.
Oh no, I think they do have their own Zebra VDB file, but
Yeah, that's what I saw. Like it was like .vdb zebra or something like that.
I think it's still. I haven't tested the rendering part yet, but hopefully it just works.
Yeah,
Because it would
because
help.
we have one
Yeah.
major hurdle at Unit for us FX wise, which is that most of the projects are actually 2ds Max and V-Ray,
Mm-hmm.
which is not really the best combination for FX.
Mm.
Like V-Ray on 3ds Max right now still can't render VDBs that doesn't have like all the fields with the exact same division size.
Okay.
So you know the good old tricks of having less voxels in velocity, so it's
Yeah.
lighter and
Yeah,
faster.
yeah, of
Well, yeah,
course.
you can do that. You just can't
Damn.
because V-Ray just crashed, which is not the case I think on V-Ray for Houdini, but it is on 3ds Max.
Yeah, velocity is
So
expensive to have.
yeah, yeah, a lot. So we actually spend a lot of time with those kind of bugs. So I wouldn't be surprised if Zebra is a big no for us at the moment.
Yeah, I think they're gonna fix stuff like that. Well, hopefully, in the future. But yeah, if once you have that much fire, it just becomes that's like, I don't know, like 200, 300 gigs of VDB files, and then it's a whole, or even more probably,
Yeah, I guess, but that's I mean, obviously, like this is probably the zone we are the most interested in. Like there was some papers also going on about AI compression, not Zebra, but directly inside of VDB, just nano VDB. Like, yes, I want VDBs that are smaller and faster to render. Yes, please, of course, I want that.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. And actually, some of the fires, like sometimes we do that. Some of the fires in Elden Ring, smaller ones, they are just stock shots because why bother? You want to add some fires, yeah, you can go into simulation, you can spend that time, you can spend that disk and that rendering, but sometimes you just end of production, let's do that in compositing.
Sure. Yeah, that works.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, whatever works at the end of the day.
That's it. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, whatever fix, like, because we're just problem solvers, right? So we need, sometimes it's what's the cheapest way to solve that problem, and sometimes it's even the best way to solve it. So yeah.
And I think I've seen many new artists, and I don't know if this is what probably what comes out of specifically social networks, probably LinkedIn. They are very demo reel oriented. Like I have to have the best demo reel ever. So yes, for sure. But yeah, whatever works. Sometimes that's not gonna be a shot. That's gonna be in a demo reel because we need to take shortcuts or we need to go faster, and they have a hard time sometimes coping with that. And I think that when I don't care about my demo reel any second, and I think it's freeing sometimes.
Yeah.
You just you just do your stuff, you just enjoy, and at the end it could be good, and that's fine. It's gonna be in the demo reel. But putting this sort of pressure on yourself just because you start, not good.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same kind of boat. Like I haven't updated my demo reel in years, and I probably will never update it. I'm maybe fortunate in that way, like that I kind of fostered a community, and like a reputation as well. But yeah, as if people can, I think especially on interviews, like a lot of people ask me, like, what do you say on interviews? What if your show reel is not flashy? What if this and that? And I'm like, usually it's like people just want to know that you are a reliable person and that you will solve problems. And even if your show reel doesn't have the best flashy shots, or the effects are a bit janky or whatever, if you understand teamwork and if they can really feel that, you will get hired just because of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My demo reel wasn't flashy when I get to Unit, because I was kind of in the same position as I could be now at Mathematic before, which was that I was doing a lot of things. Like I was sometimes coding, sometimes I was even directing some trailers. So I didn't have like all the amazing FX shots that some other people had. Sometimes I had like months of nothing. For example, I worked for 8 or 9 months on a fake video game on Unreal for a big video company, and that's something that was completely under wraps, so it's not in the demo reel. But it doesn't matter because the interview like went on for like 30-40 minutes, and obviously through the questions you know very well who you have in front of you,
Right.
and if it's someone that's a problem solver, if it's someone that understand and it's sometimes it's hard, it's easy to forget that the people in front of you know that. And it's funny because I was in that position at the end of school, trying to make the best demo reel, trying to adjust it to the most amazing music, and no one cares. And people usually, they're like, no, come on, it has to get some extra points. And no, it doesn't. The interview is going to do, because are you nice? Are you easygoing? Are you probably a problem solver? If I ask you this or that question, what's your answer? That's where it goes. You're totally right. It's where it's going on. It's happening.
Yep, 100%. It's a hard skill to master as well, right? Because it's not
sure.
It's a soft skill, right? It's not a hard skill like Houdini or FX, but soft skills like communication or are you a trustworthy person, and how to portray that through that 30-minute interview. It's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like the only thing that I think of most of the time for the people that I meet, and I said that be yourself, because it's not easy. Like I know it's not easy to speak someone you don't know, especially in an interview, because you might be super stressed because you want to land the job. But just try to be yourself, because that's the best thing you could do. And sometimes if you're not the match, you're not the match, and that's what it is. But don't try to be someone else, because it might be a problem afterwards on top of that. And especially, I mean, for us in France, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but artists like me, we are in a specific kind of contract thing, where basically if you're not what you were advertising, you could be terminated like as fast as you went in. So it doesn't really pay to try to play anything, because there is no security down the line. So be yourself. And as you said, even if you don't have all the shiny stuff in your demo reel, as long as it is what we want to do, because sometimes people cram so many stuff in it that doesn't fit the job, and that could be negative points. Be yourself.
Be yourself. I think that's a good statement to end this episode.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sweet. Well, Alex, it was a pleasure having you. Maybe we can do more of these in the future. I think you should do a workshop, actually. I think you would be a good teacher, and I think your knowledge as a TD and an FX artist could be a very good combination for a lot of people. I know I would watch it, so maybe
that would be, honestly, that would be where I feel probably the most secure, because you already have some amazing people on the FX side, and like I wouldn't be able to do like, for real, I wouldn't be able to do the same explosions. I wouldn't be able to do the same things, because I do so many stuff that a bit of a jack of all trades, much more than one very specialized guys that can do the most amazing shot. But on the TD side, and I can do some good Python stuff. So
I bet. I think it would be I think it would be a good workshop. Honestly, you should consider it. But awesome.
That's noted.
Cool. Well, sweet. Thanks, Alex. Have a good. I think it's your first day of holidays, right?
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. Get some rest. Take some. Just take some time off from the computer as well.
For sure. 3 weeks. Amazing.
Nice. Sounds good.
I'd be on the computer but playing. So.
Dude, you said you finished. Did you finish Indiana Jones?
Yeah, I did like earlier this week. Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
I just binge played it. It was easily my game of the year. Yeah.
Dude, it's fun, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's amazing. Like
yeah.
it's everything like as I was saying, I'm passionate about games and industry,
Mm.
and so many games you can feel they just made out of exact mind. They do not speak to players. You
Yeah.
know, they have all those little quirks in between, and I've been seeing that firsthand. Sometimes working with some video games companies where the artists want to do something with the games, and then the execs comes in and say, no, you need to put that because that's
Mm.
what makes the deal. And this one, it really just feels that those guys had the best fun. It's not entirely true. It's still a game you have to make. It's super hard, so they had probably some hard times, but they just did the best Indiana Jones thing you could do, and they did not try to go and create the most bigger over the board kind of stuff. No, it's slow, it's intricate, it's fun, it's good. It's just good. I cannot recommend it enough.
I love it. I wish it was twice as long. Honestly, I would like to play.
Yeah,
Right
yeah,
now, I would like to play it, but I'm like, because I already know the
sure.
story, and I did all the side missions while I was playing. I kind of finished the
I
whole
didn't
thing.
do everything.
Oh
I
no.
need to do some others, but I'm super. I really think they will do a second one,
Yeah,
and
freaking 4 years.
know,
Another 4 years to wait.
yeah, but what I love about that, to know that this might be a second one and it might be in 3 or 4 years, is that
Mm.
it's also the time you need sometimes in every artistic endeavors to just spend
Mm.
some times off, and do not think about it, and get fresh, because when you come back you're going to have some more amazing ideas, some more amazing ways of having a better rhythm, having a better gameplay. So that's what I'm super into. It's like, yes, I want my gameplay fix, but I'm just even more interested to see what those guys could bring with all that knowledge, all that experience in the first game
Mm.
sometimes, and I'd be there day one for sure.
Yeah, I hope they do. I really hope they make another one.
I
It's gonna
really
be good.
do, yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks, Alex. Thanks everybody for joining.
Thank you very much.
Bye, bye, guys. Bye, bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.